Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post April 6th YouTube channel. Boy, look at this. I got a nice haircut. Yeah, I got a nice haircut today because really, I needed it. My sideburns were getting down here and they were getting kind of long, and you know the way the hair would stick out from here to here. It had that kind of like fluffiness and the way the hair would stick out. Oh boy. Well, this vlog is about the late Adam LeWoo. Yeah, I'm still shocked that about 8 days ago he passed away in his sleep. He was only 51 years old. He's a year younger than me. He was born, I don't know the exact date verbatim, but I know this much. He was born in August of 1974 in Tupelo, Mississippi. Yes, Tupelo, Mississippi, the same location where Elvis Presley was born, or Elvis Aaron Presley was born back in 1935. And for Adam, it was August of 1974 when he was born. And before I did this vlog, I took the time and the trouble of looking up listening to and taking notes of a interview by his father, because his father, named Jim, has a YouTube channel all of his own. He's not as much of a YouTuber as Adam is, but he's posted at least, I didn't count how many videos that he has made and posted and uploaded up to his YouTube channel, but it's probably at least 20, I would think. Okay, so like I already said, he was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, and the way that we're talking, even though that's what the hospital, the hospital that he was born in was in Tupelo, Mississippi, but he might have actually lived in Verona, Mississippi. And then sometime later, I'm assuming it is somewhere between age 2 and 5, he lived in Anniston, Alabama. This is where his parents moved. And he went along because he was part of the family. I mean, that's how things went. He didn't really have a choice in the matter. And then after a few years, or a few months to a few years later, probably more likely a few years later, he lived in Commerce, Oklahoma. And this is something that was said verbatim in the interview, either by his father or by Adam himself. In 1978, they moved to Leroy, Illinois. I repeat, Leroy, Illinois. And then they moved away from there, and they lived in Pound, I think it's Pound, Florida, and then they moved to Pensacola. And then after that, they lived in Niceville, Florida. And around 1990, they lived in Eufaula. It's spelled Eufaula, Oklahoma, in 1990. When he was 17, so I would assume this would be somewhere between sometime in 1990 or the early part of 1991, he lived in St. Cloud, Florida. And the other thing that was said in the, taking notes from the interview where his father was interviewing him instead of Adam just, doing what I'm doing, talking directly to the camera itself. When Adam was 27, He was a bass player for a punk rock band called Hidden Children. Yes, Hidden Children. And I don't know when it was, verbatim. I did a Google search on this myself. He was apparently a bass player for a band that has put out several albums, and he may have been a bass player before they got a contract with a recording company and became famous like they are. It's a punk rock band called Guttermouth. And the other thing that I took the time and trouble to do is I looked at every single record that was made. You know, the first 7 or 8 of them. When you look at the Wikipedia profile of the band's albums, you know, the title of the album, and he was not a band member or personnel of the band in any of these recorded records that was put out by Guttermouth. So what I'm assuming that he was a bass player for them or whatever he did for the band before they got a recording contract and became as famous as they are. Now, is Guttermouth as famous as Madonna, guitarist Eric Clapton, Paul McCartney of the Beatles, Hendrix, and Eddie Van Halen? No. But they are famous in their own way. They got more than a couple of bucks in their pocket, I know that. They're probably, the band members got several $1,000s to their name at least. If they're not millionaires, they got several thousand, they got more than a couple $1,000s to their name, I would assume. And what the names of the band members are now, I don't remember. You know, I didn't really keep track. I didn't memorize the names. I just didn't see Adam the Woo anywhere in there. All I did see is that he was a member of that band at one point. That's all I know. Exactly when Adam the Woo was a part of Guttermouth, again, I don't know. I just don't know. I really tried to look, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get any results from a Google search. So let's get away from that, and I will get to the part about when I found out about it. And I thought really, really hard about this before I did the vlog itself. The first time I saw one of his vlogs, it was somewhere between 2014 and 2017. But exactly when that was verbatim, I can't remember. Because there were so many things going on between 2014 and 2017. I mean, a lot of really pretty serious stuff where I was rebuilding my life so things go like this. Instead of, up, down, up, down, up, down, or down real hard, then up, and then down real hard again. I rebuilt it in a good, responsible way. And I do remember this much. And this wasn't every single day, but it was regular in the sense that it was at least once every couple of weeks. I was watching him regularly, at least once every couple of weeks, since about mid-2019. And then I thought, okay, what was your favorite vlog that he did? And I thought, gosh, in the last 3 years, he's done so many good ones. I don't remember them all. But then I really thought hard about it for a few minutes, and I thought, okay, it was, and there was more than one. There was probably at least 9 or 10. It was where he was, where he took an airplane to, you know, across a pond, across the Atlantic to London, England, and he stayed there, I would assume, for at least 7 or 8 days. And I saw every single one of them. I mean, looking at what is in London and what is near London, it is so one of a kind that you really can't duplicate it. Yeah, you can have a house or two or a building or two that has some similarities that looks like it's in London, but it's not going to look exactly like it's in London, because it's more than just the design of the particular building and the decorations of the building, aside from how the building was built and designed, that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's what surrounds it. It's the climate, you know, the way the climate looks around it, the whole thing. You know, there's parts of the United States that it looks kind of similar to London, but it ain't London. Nope. It looks kind of similar to London by a few of the commercial buildings there, and a few of the old school Victorian, you know, New England, what we would call New England out here, or, you know, unique old England housing. But, you know, like I've already said at least 6 times, the parts of the East Coast that look similar to London, it ain't London. It ain't gonna look and feel exactly like London. It's not. Because doing that is, in fact, I'll come right out and say it is damn near impossible. Because it's more than just the way the weather is at that particular time and what is surrounding the houses and the retail stores that look like London. It's also the people that walk to and from. You know, the men, the women, and the cars, the bicycles, the dogs, you know, the birds that fly around, the whole thing. And if somebody's, you know, playing, you know, like marching band music, you know, the music that you can hear. Because what you hear out there and what you hear in here are typically not exactly alike. I mean, yeah, there can be some similarities, but they're not going to sound exactly alike. They're not. Okay, I had to stop and think here for a few minutes. Okay, how I found out that Adam the Woo died. Somebody didn't send me a text message, and nobody didn't send me an email. All I was doing was I pulled up my YouTube app on my smartphone. The same smartphone that's doing the filming of this YouTube vlog right as we speak. And 14 minutes prior to the talking I'm doing right at this second, I put in Adam the Woo in the search box, and immediately something popped up that said that he died. And I was like, no way, that's a hoax. And then I searched around some more. And it's that guy who's heavy set, and he's got kind of a mustache and a distinct. It's the way the hair kind of sticks out like this, kind of like a fanning effect. I mean, he looks cool. It's just, you know, it's his style. It fits him. Wouldn't fit me. It'd make me look ridiculous. And he really started talking. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He's gone. And then I was just like, and you know, my heart felt tense and my chest was hurting. And I didn't really start to cry. I just felt full of anxiety. I'm like, oh my God. I got hit by a car and I lived, but Adam the Woo never had that happen to him, and yet he dies in his sleep. It just, it didn't make any sense. It really didn't. It really didn't make any sense. Oh, man. And then when I saw more research about what happened, I was like, I mean, I had a mental picturization of how he died. Because it was one of 3 things that happened to him when he was sleeping. 1, he had a fatal heart attack. 2, he had a deadly stroke, and I mean deadly. 3, and one of the YouTube members that knows him well expressed this. It was a blood clot. Either, if it wasn't in his brain, it was somewhere near his brain. Because he did so much traveling in an airplane, it can easily happen to somebody. They can develop a blood clot in their body that they're not feeling bad, but then they go to sleep and then they're dead. Yes. Or they're not feeling good and then they get hospitalized, and the hospital, even though they have very good testing equipment and medical equipment to do tests or analysis, and they can't pinpoint exactly where the blood clot is, or if they can detect the blood clot, they don't know the exact what type of blood clot it is, and all the particulars that they need to know before they perform surgery on that person to remove the blood clot or do the surgical treatment that will cure the blood clot. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm just doing the best I can to make sense of what I feel I know about blood clots. Okay, I've discussed this before when I was talking about my late grandmother, Leona Odie Pearsall Pike, who died in 1979. And that is that my mother told me a few years after she died, when I asked her about why she died, she said to me, no, actually it wasn't why she died. Oh, that's right, I remember now. I asked her, did they do an autopsy on Grandma Odie? And they said no. And I said, why? Because we knew what happened. And I said, really? What happened? It was because a blood clot went from her leg to her brain. That's what she strongly swears up and down was what happened. But it was most likely her heart. in Mercy Hospital, which now no longer exist because it got completely demolished, and there's condos there. At 7:45 p.m., February 8th, 1979, she died of pulmonary embolus. EMBOLUS. I think that means, in layman's terms, pulmonary embolism. Or a illness quite similar to a pulmonary embolism. It's a coronary issue. It has to do with the heart. Oh, before I forget, here's another thing that might have been a problem with Adam, because he's fairly big, and he's not bulging overweight, but he's a little heavy. And so am I. I mean, geez, I'm 5'9.5", and I got no cause for complaint. I weigh at least 271 pounds. I got no cause to go to him. No. Because that's the pot calling the kettle black, and that's me being a pathetic hypocrite. Who am I to tell him how to watch his weight and blah blah blah? No, I'm not going to do that to him or anyone else. It's not my place to do it, unless somebody really wants my advice quite badly. Okay, back to another reason as to what I think might have caused him to have a heart attack, and it's this: sleep apnea. Yep, he may have been suffering from sleep apnea, and he didn't even know it, because you can suffer from sleep apnea even if you just sleep like this. Instead of snoring like this. Sorry, I got a little carried away. I've done that so many times I know how to do it well. Yeah. And sometimes I have a cat who's a really wonderful cat, but every once in a while, and it's not very loud, has to be really quiet in this apartment before I hear it. I'll hear her snoring a little bit. She'll be like, about like that. Yep. But that doesn't matter. I still love her a lot. And sometimes if she really starts twitching a little bit, I just very gently go over to her, and I said, and I talk to her like this. I said, "Hi, kitty. You look like you're having a bad dream. Are you all right?" You know, I talk to her like that. That way she doesn't get really defensive. I don't go over to her and just go and shake her like that. That's animal abuse. I'm not going to treat a cat like that. No way. You don't shake a cat like that. That's really unkind. Well, that pretty much concludes this vlog. And again, the information that I got from the vlog that was done by his dad named Jim, you know, I did the best I could keeping the notes. And you know, sometimes at some parts of the part where they talked about where he lived, you know, from when he was born until he was 17. You know, sometimes they said the year he lived there, and other times they didn't. So he lived in Verona, Mississippi, Addison, Alabama, Commerce, Oklahoma, and let's see, what's another one where he didn't? Oh yeah, Pound, Florida, or at least I've been told it was Pound. That might not be accurate. Pensacola, Florida, Niceville, Florida, and another part of Oklahoma. I think it's called Eufaula or Eufaula. F. The way it's spelled, it's hard to pronounce it. You know, I did the best I could. So, thank you, everyone, for listening to this vlog, and I hope all of you have a really good New Year's Eve, and for God's sakes, don't drink too much. If you're going to have more than a couple of drinks, you know, after the third one, that should be enough. Because you really start putting away a bunch of champagne, before you know it, you're really drunk, and then you're going to run to the bathroom and throw up. Or you're going to get in the car and you're just going to be, if you don't do that, you're just going to, you know, sit in the car on the passenger side, hopefully not driving, and you'll just be a real pain in the butt because you're drunk. So anyway, thank you, everyone. I hope 2026 is a really good year for all people, and I hope we don't lose too many celebrities. God, I hope we really don't, because what we've been going through this year has just been way too much. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you, and goodbye now.